Hello, welcome back to Every Kind of I Do. I'm Jen, your host today with Weirdo Weddings Photography, and I'm gonna go right into the spring vibes weddings. Now, I'm recording this in like the dead of winter, but I wanted to just like bring out some spring vibrations right now and just think about how everything's going to be blooming again soon. And I really wanted to highlight these two because they were so special. And this was definitely a wedding for the books. I have to say that. So we have this lovely couple. They got married in Plano at the Nature and Retreat Center. So it was already heavily in immersed into like the forest and all kinds of flowers and stuff. So, but we're going to highlight what it feels like to have like a spring kind of a wedding, like a subtle theme of spring mixed in here. It's going to be lovely. So we're going to start with a cake. I'm not ashamed to say that I've had a lot of cakes in these episodes because I do think it's important to just think about it. Think about how your cake goes along with whatever theme or season that you're looking at. Now, I like this cake in particular, looks like it's embroidered, like it looks like it's frosted and embroidered at the same time. So you can see these really natural looking wildflower things happening. But also, if you look closer, it just feels like it's stitched on there. Like it is such an interesting technique. And then you have like these little almost bluebonnety looking things here at the bottom of this tier. Now, this was their cutting cake. There was a whole sheet cake or two stuffed in the freezer at the kitchen to serve their whole crowd. But we're gonna say this is their statement piece cutting cake. So we have two tiers here, a really tall top tier and a really mostly tall second tier as well. So there's like it's a pretty tall cake. It's a pretty tall cake, and there was a lot of different angles that I photographed it from because the wildflowers were just so neat to me, and it feels like an art piece, like you don't want to eat it. And I love when weddings kind of, some cakes are like that though. They're so pretty you don't want to eat them. But you know what? This cake got eaten. So when thinking spring, how can we insert this into our wedding day? I also wanted to highlight I don't want to, it's not a common ritual, but a ritual that happens in a lot of different weddings is the sand, the pouring of the sand. And the premise of that is how hard it is to pull it apart once you've mixed it together. These are the perfect examples of what I feel like relationships can be, especially if you're coming together as a family. And this is obviously an older couple. So there's children coming together and there's families merging still. And so you can see by all the different colors that they're merging a lot of different things into this marriage. And I love the symbolism of this. So you can see a variety of different colors. This particular photo is of them starting it, and I believe everybody came in later to add colors to it. And at some point, I will probably bring up the full picture of what it looked like at the end. But today is just about spring weddings and things that you can do at your wedding that are interesting or different or how you make it your own. So I love the fact that they did this. I love the color schemes here. It comes out very beautiful in this panel here that it actually, I think it almost filled way to the top that they almost couldn't finish. Like there was so much sand in there, they almost didn't have the space to finish everything. And I just love that. So many great memories from this moment. And it was very meaningful to them. It meant a lot. And they put it in there intentionally, is what I was gonna say. These two, come on. These two are adorable. You have this beautiful, simple bouquet, but it's a simple statement bouquet. And of course, their smiles and love is everything. This whole wedding was about the smiles and the love. Just love, love, love. And she has this amazing, gown that's detailed with some lace overlays. He's got some beautiful blues. We have the blue vest meeting the blue tie, meeting the pocket squares and all that. Um, and obviously, we went indoors and outdoors. They had an indoors wedding, but we did outdoor photography for some of this after the ceremony, just because we wanted to take in the landscape. It's basically in one of the parks in Plano, so it's like there's running trails, there's a zip line across the way. There's a body of water. I mean, we're all kind of hanging out. It's an indoor outdoor type of space where you can enjoy all of it. And so this was just a couple of minutes that we took outside in the natural sunlight to just kind of have these moments with them quietly and had some family time, and it was just lovely. But you can see that she's got a pretty good mixture of flowers in the bouquet. I love it. So yeah, good. I couldn't remember all the photos that I put in here, so I wanted a close-up of this because I want you to see how they did their flowers. And this is a variety of different textures. I love, love, love the big, statement making yellow pieces with a little bit of the red mixed in with a little bit of this muted purple, right? And I love that it is perfectly surrounded by giant, green leaves. It's kind of like surrounding it like nature would, maybe a tree, a tree with leaves, a tree with buds. I love that about this bouquet. But think about spring. Sometimes if you want real flowers, you do have to think about the season that you're in. So think about the color tones that you love the most, and then kind of like look at some flower options that you have from maybe a wedding pro can guide you on the floral design aspect. And if you already know about florals and you already know what's in season, you can plan your wedding around that too. If you know you want spring flowers, then maybe have a spring wedding. And if you're doing something in the summer, you have to think a little differently on the heat factor. Like, is the heat going to affect your flowers? In the spring, we already know everything's budding, it's got its life forces coming out, everything comes back alive. So that's what I love about this wedding. It lends inspiration across the board for spring, but also just doing things in your love story that matter. I also wanted to highlight the fact that they used I don't know, dried flowers. I believe it's dried flowers. And they had these natural and organic things that everything was in as their confetti. So this is their confetti that they're going to use to throw later in the night. Um, because they had a nice reception, they were dancing, they were having a good time, they had food, they had fun. And at the end of the night, this is what we were going to be throwing. And it's easy to, yeah, I would say easy to clean up. It's organic. It just kind of goes back into the ground kind of a thing. Um, and make sure it's always, if you need to pre-approve things with your venue, this is where you would ask them, can I do this? Can I do that? And how much cleanup is involved if you choose something that isn't sustainable and going back to the ground, right? So this is one thing that they did, and I wanted to make sure that you saw this so you could see the options if you are planning some kind of a fun getaway or a photo that you want, then these are the things that you can think about. And so that kind of leaves us with it's nighttime, and now we're setting up the shot with the confetti going everywhere. And as you can see, it went everywhere. But when you think of spring, what are the things that come to mind? What are the things that you would think of at a spring wedding? Or what are the feels that you're going for? And obviously, this family is just going for the love, they're going for simplicity, they were going for just a cozy way to be together. And this was a nice, fun activity to do right after everything is done. They've had a good time. This is kind of like we're gonna say goodnight, but we're not really going anywhere. We're just gonna keep partying for the rest of the night. But to stage this photo was really lovely because everybody had a great time throwing the confetti at them. So I included that photo mostly because you can see the end result of what they were doing. And I think it's just lovely. They're having a great time. They're getting confetti in their eye. It's in the hair. It's all over the place. You can see it flying across the screen. It's just fabulous. And thank you again for joining me on this fabulous spring episode. There's so much more I have to share with you across the board with all of my wonderful wedding clients and what they have done for their weddings and the inspiration you can take with you. So go ahead and like and subscribe and leave a comment. What are you doing for your spring wedding? Or what's a spring wedding that really inspired you that we could learn about, some amazing things that happened at your wedding? Or did you work a wedding recently that was super spring inspired? What did they do? What was something that stood out to you? All right, well, I will see you on the next episode. As always, thanks for listening, thanks for watching, and I will talk to you soon.